Hey guys, so I've been working on with this resin master for a week or so now, and I thought since I'm at it, I might as well film the process of making a silicone mold. So the silicone I use is called UMU30, or I guess that's how you pronounce it. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio silicone, very easy to use, and I've actually used a sculpey clay to cover a wooden lure reject that I made ages ago. And you also need a cup and something to stir the silicone. So for the mold box, I've used this cardboard box that I've actually sealed with Sculpey also. And for the bottom, I've used some tape to just cover all the seams, make sure that nothing is gonna leak out from the box when I pour the silicone in. Before I start, I thought I'd show you guys two different types of silicone molds that I've used. The first one is actually the one I'm making in this video, and the second one is called two-piece mold for, well, obvious reasons. And let's get those out of the way. So I've actually glued already the master to the cardboard box. This is just to prevent the master from moving when I start to pour the silicone later on. I've actually already shaped the bottles, which you always should do before starting the pour. And since this cup is 300 milliliters or 11 ounces, I'm just gonna pour half of that to the cup so that I get that 1-to-1 ratio. And as you can see, the part A of the UMU silicone rubber is pretty thick, so I always end up pouring this one first because it's much more easier for me to get the right ratio for the silicone. So here you can see half of the cup is equal, and yeah, you actually have to shake the bottles like I said earlier. And as you can see, the consistency of the part B is much more thinner than the part A. So I just always end up doing it this way. It's much more easier for me to get the exact same 50-50 ratio every time. After that's done, you just start to stir the mixture very vigorously and very thoroughly. Then you just scrape the sides of the cup, making sure that you get everything out from the side as well. Just keep stirring until you don't see any kind of streaks in the silicone. Once that's done, it's ready to be poured to this mold. So just keep on stirring until you get all the streaks out. It seems to be pretty ready. Okay. Now I just start pouring the silicone rubber to the mold box. Usually when you're pouring these kinds of one-part silicone molds, it's usually a good idea to, when you start pouring the stuff inside the box, that you do it kind of slowly and just don't drop everything in there at one go, because if you do that, the silicone might end up trapping a lot more air bubbles inside of it. So that's the reason why I'm doing it kind of slowly here. Let's get everything out from there. Just a few drops in there. Yeah, and like you can see here, I definitely need to make a little bit more of the silicone. Probably around, I'm thinking of 200 milliliters. That should probably be enough to cover the master completely. Yeah. And I'm pretty much done with this. So after 6 hours, the silicone rubber has cured completely, and it's time to take apart the mold box. And since this is a disposable box, there's no need to save it, so I'm just gonna rip it to pieces. And as you can see here, this is pretty much my favorite feature of this particular silicone, because it really doesn't stick to cardboard that easily, which makes my life much more easier, because I usually don't like to make my mold boxes out of plywood or whatever other kinds of materials that you guys probably have seen other people use. Come on, already, damn it. Alright, everything is off now, and I can start playing a surgeon and make a couple of incisions to the mold so that I can get the master out. And usually what I prefer to do is, when I'm making the first cuts, that I don't make them too deep, so that it's much more easier for me to make the parting line much more straight. But of course it depends on the personal taste and whatnot. And of course I have to mention here that as you can see here, I'm not making the cuts to the sides of to the mold. I'm just cutting up the upper part of the mold. This is because later on, when you're pouring the silicone, it doesn't drip from the sides that much. So that's a neat trick that I've learned. And I hope you guys can see that the master has printed the copy completely to the mold. It's time to start pouring some resin. I fixed the mold with 2 pieces of plywood and rubber bands. And the kind of resin that I use, it's called Smooth Cast 300. It's a 2-piece resin that you mix with 1:1 ratio. Like for instance, alumilite products are just pretty much the same as this one. And when this stuff cures, it turns white, just like alumilite products. And I roughly know the right amount of resin that I need for a lure this size, so I'm not gonna go into that. So just pour these into one big cup. Make sure everything comes out. And always when mixing, do it very thoroughly, like, well, pretty much every time you mix something, you just should do it very thoroughly. And you can usually feel pretty quickly when the chemical reaction kicks in this resin, because it starts to heat up a little bit. And then you just start pouring it into the silicone mold. Some people use vents and stuff like that, but I've actually know from past experience that for these kinds of after 10 minutes the resin has cured enough so that I can demold my cast. By the way, I'm sure that you guys have noticed the music playing in the background of this video, so I thought I'd give you guys a little challenge. If anyone out there can name at least 4 songs, I will give out one of these resin plates for free, fully painted of course. Wow, that is pretty badass, huh? Awesome. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I guess I see you guys next time. See ya!